Rupi and Stephen are extremely skillful, extremely experienced, and highly committed to the work, and don't have the language to speak highly enough for how they facilitated the week, the extent to which they supported us, guided us, held us. I would now trust Stephen and Rupi with my life. Hi there, my name is James Gibson. I'm a coach and a therapist, and wanted to share my experience to help kind of inform you about how it works, how they work, what's involved. First thing to say is you're probably already curious about Iboga, or Iboga has made itself known to you in some way, which is how it was for me. And it's the kind of technology, the kind of plant medicine that I would hope you are researching really thoroughly, because it's not something to take lightly. I came to the ceremony for two reasons. I was going through a very marked life transition, and I recognized the need for an initiatory experience. And I knew that I was at a time in my life where I was ready to leave my old self behind and prepare for a new chapter in my life. I then set about researching where to have that experience, which provider to go with, to use our cultural language. And there were options in Mexico, in Costa Rica, and in Portugal. So I set up a couple of calls. I spoke to Rupi initially at Iboga Medicine, and as she knows, I instantly felt a strong yes. Nevertheless, no matter what people put on their website, we never know until we experience it, and that's the importance for me in doing my research and getting first-hand accounts of the retreat, of the ceremony. So I could tell that people had very positive experiences, but nevertheless, I knew I was taking a leap of faith, and this was my experience. So I've been a coach and a therapist for 10 years. I've worked with various therapeutic and healing modalities. I'm trained in various healing and therapeutic modalities. I've been fortunate enough to work with some fantastic teachers, facilitators, and learn a number of different methodologies and interventions that have brought a lot of success in my professional life, in my business, and have also provided me with some deep healing, some transformation. My life's very different to what it was before my men's work initiation in 2013. And I had extremely high expectations of the Iboga ceremony, but nothing could have prepared me for what a remarkable, transformative, alchemical experience I had. There's some of the fruit I've been sharing from my experiences that upon returning to my life, for the first handful of days, I was consumed and almost overwhelmed with gratitude and relief. It was the most profound therapeutic experience and healing experience I've had in my life. And I wouldn't have really believed it was possible from my grounding in psychology, but nothing could have prepared me for this experience. It's an incredibly powerful, deeply transformative technology, or plant medicine. And I also know now that it needs to be facilitated and held extremely skillfully with the utmost experience and reverence for the medicine and the process. This is something that has the power, the potential to utterly transform someone's life beyond what we can imagine, beyond what I could imagine. And I've had 10 years experience kind of in the field, you could say. Rupi and Stephen are extremely skillful, extremely experienced, and highly committed to the work. I really couldn't and don't have the language to speak highly enough for how they facilitated the week, the extent to which they supported us, guided us, held us. I would now trust Stephen and Rupi with my life. As I said, I've been fortunate enough to work with many teachers and know when I'm in really safe hands. And the way they held us, guided us, supported us, and facilitated the Iboga ceremonies was just a joy to behold. Personally, it was, as I said, utterly transformative. Even now, 2 weeks on, I find it hard to wrap my mind around what happened. But very much from a heart and soul perspective, it's very clear what's happened, which is I've got my life back, and I feel really aligned in my psyche, in my soul, in my heart, in a way that I didn't imagine was possible. Life now seems almost limitless in its potential. So I can't speak highly enough about the experience. If you're considering doing an Iboga retreat, for me, there's no one else I would consider working with. Check in, speak to them. You'll soon find out how gifted they are in working with this plant medicine. And I wish you all the best on your ceremony when you get there. Thank you.